The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. The Portrait of a Lady is a part of an autobiography by Khushwant Singh. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully unfolds their relationship and how it undergoes several changes. In other words, the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. The story gives a picture of human relationships. It is a realistic account of how the grandparents give all their time, attention, and love to their grandchildren. Now, let me give you an introduction of the author. About the author, Khushwant Singh was born in a Sikh family in Punjab. His father, Sir Shobha Singh, was a prominent builder in Lutyens, Delhi. He was educated at Modern School, Delhi, Government College, Lahore, St. Stephen College, Delhi, and King's College, London. Now let us go to the story in detail. The Portrait of a Lady, about the characters of Portrait of the Lady. Important characters that we find in this lesson are grandmother and Khushwant Singh, the author himself. Khushwant Singh's grandmother is described as an extremely religious person. She was a very kind lady. She was short, fat, and slightly bent. Her face was wrinkled. Her face was wrinkled, and she was always dressed in spotless white clothes. In the village, she took care of all the needs of the author when he was a child. Khushwant Singh, the author, he recounts his childhood days and his relationship with his grandmother. The Portrait of the Lady. Let us go to the summary in detail. At the very outset, the author remembers his grandmother and grandfather. The author recalls his grandmother as a very old lady. For 20 years that the author had known the grandmother, he had found her as old and wrinkled. It was hard for him to believe that she had once been young and pretty. It was very difficult for him to believe that she was once young and pretty, and she had a husband. We'll go to Khushwant Singh's grandfather. Khushwant Singh's grandfather's portrait was hung there on the walls of the drawing room. He wore a big turban. His clothes were very loose. He looked at least 100 years old. Looking at his portrait, no one could imagine him in his youth with his wife and children. Now let me tell you about the author's grandmother. The thought of the grandmother being young and pretty was almost revolting to him. She was short, fat, slightly bent in stature. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles. Her silvery white hairs, was scattered all over her face. The author remembers her hobbling around the house in spotless white sari. Spotless white, with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop and the other hand busily counting the beads of rosary. Her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayers always. To the author, she could never have been pretty, but she reflected a divine beauty. She was like a winter landscape in the mountain. Now, the author's childhood with his grandmother. We'll see what is the author's childhood with his grandmother. The author and his grandmother were good friends. His parents left him to stay with her when they shifted to the city. In the village, his grandmother took care of all his needs. She was quite active and agile. She used to wake him up early in the morning and get him ready for the school. get him ready for the school, and she was quite active and get him ready for the school. She said her morning prayers in a sing-song manner while she bathed him or dressed him up for the school. Why did she do that? Because she wanted her grandson to get it by hearted by listening to it every day. The author listened to the prayers but never bothered to by heart them. Though she would fetch his wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk. She would take an earthen ink pot and reed pen and tie them into a bundle and hand it to the author. After having a thick stale chapatis with a little butter and sugar spread on it, they used to leave for school. The authors they used to leave for school. The author's grandmother, always accompanied him to the school, as it was attached to the temple. Now we'll see the author at school. The priest taught the author alphabets there. Taught the author the alphabets there. And grandmother used to sit in the nearby temple, a temple that is adjacent to the school, and she used to read scriptures from there while her grandson was learning his letters from there. And on their way back home, they would be feeding the dogs with the chapatis, stale chapatis, which they used to carry with them. Now there came a turning point in the friendship of the author and the grandmother. The turning point of their friendship came when they moved to the city to stay with Khushwant Singh's parents. In the city, the author went to an English school, and in a motor bus. Grandmother could not accompany him to the school. As there were no dogs in the street, the grandmother she spent all her time feeding the sparrows. I mean, not all their time. Her half an hour or evenings she used to feed the sparrows. She took to feeding the sparrows, and as the years rolled by, they saw less of each other. In spite of the immense interest in his studies, she could not help him in the studies as he was learning English, law of gravity, Archimedes principles, world being round, etc., and many things more. And certain things about her school makes her very unhappy. First thing is that they were not teaching him anything about God and scriptures there. Second thing is that music lessons were given to him at school. And she feels that music is a monopoly of harlots and beggars. That is not meant for decent people. So she hated him learning music there. Sometimes she would ask him what the teachers have taught him. Okay, now we'll go to grandmother. We'll see that grandmother is now distressed and disturbed. Grandmother didn't believe in the things taught in the school, English school, and was distressed to learn that there was no teaching about gods and scriptures. That's what I have told you. So now we'll see the narrator or Khushwant Singh, as he was going up, the common link of friendship gets snapped or severed. The common link of friendship between the author and the grandmother was broken when the author went to the university and was given a room of his own. Grandmother, she accepted her seclusion with resignation, accepted her loneliness very calmly, and rarely spoke to anyone. All day she sat in front of a spinning wheel. She was sitting in front of a spinning wheel, and she accepted her by accepting her loneliness. Only thing that she does in the afternoon is where she is finding where we find her relaxed is while feeding the sparrows. They perched on her shoulders and even on her head, but she never shooed them away. She never drove them away. It used to be the happiest half an hour of the day for her. We can see that the author is leaving for higher studies. Grandmother is waiting there, or she is there in the railway station to see of him. The author decided to go abroad for higher studies for 5 years. He was sure that his grandmother would be upset at his departure. But she was not even sentimental. She came to the railway station to see him off. She showed no emotion. She was absorbed in prayer and counting the beads of rosary. Silently, she kissed on his forehead, and the author thought that perhaps this is the last sign of physical contact between them, because she is terribly old, and it is of no, it is of not sure that she would be alive after 5 years. Okay, now we'll see what happens after that. Grandmother. Grandmother celebrates the return and of the author, and she returns home after grandmother celebrates the return of the author. After 5 years, the author found his grandmother at the station when he returned. Okay, so she held him in her arms. She found her most religious and most self contained, and he could hear her reciting the prayers. Even that day, the happiest moment for her was feeding the sparrows herself. However, something strange happened to her that evening. For the first time ever, she did not pray. Instead, she collected the women of her neighborhood, got an old drum, and she started to sing the homecoming of the warriors. She tried to persuade, and they all tried to persuade her to stop, avoid overstraining. But she did not listen. She fell ill the next morning. Now we'll see the grandmother's death. Grandmother was diagnosed with mild fever, and the doctor said that it would go. But grandmother, she has foreseen her death. She told that that is the end, and she is approaching the last hours of her life, last moment of her life. She ignored everyone's protest and started counting the beads, and she said she could not waste any more time. She submitted to prayers. She started telling the rosary beads. After a short while, the author noticed that the grandmother's lips stopped moving and rosary fell off from her lifeless fingers. She died a peaceful death. She was recovered. She died a peaceful death, and she was found dead there on her bed. Now we'll see how did the sparrows respond. The sparrows, what did they do? The sparrows, as if they have understood. After a short while, the author noticed that the grandmother's lips stopped moving and the rosary fell off the lifeless fingers. When the author and the others came to take away grandmother's body, they met a strange sight. To mourn her death, a lot of sparrows have surrounded grandmother's body. They were all silent. When grandmother offered the sparrows some bread, when the author's mother offered the sparrows some bread, they refused to eat it and quietly flew away after grandmother's body was carried away for the last rites. So, this is what we find in the story. I hope you all have understood the story. Thank you very much.